Welcome to Paris for round 8 with Revo on pole from home driver Remy LeBeau and Sebastian Ocampo. Jonathan Sims starts 4th from Ronnie Sola and teammate UK Ball. Then it's Quanto Deroki in 7th from Ewa Puff and Charles Hernandez. Ica World starts 10th from Tenali Gabo and last time out race winner the Red Devil. Then it's Verse Theo. Marcus Nelson down in 14th from Lars Leclerc and Salos Kynes. Bob Desarov, another home driver, to start 17th from Austin and Volstead. Then it's Delhi, Rotak and Woodisis. Returning to France then for round number 8. The home favourite Remy LeBeau on the front row. All 5 lights go on. And the Parisian ePrix is underway. And that's a brilliant start. Perfect start from the number 27, heading down through the first chicane there, trying to keep it clean with Revo, trying to hold it around the outside as Austin gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision, but he only manages to hold on to second. Meanwhile, Ocampo sends it down the inside on Ronnie Sola, who got a good start as well as Ocampo. Sims drops down to 5th. On board we go with Quanto Deroki in the 66, looks to try and go around the outside. UK Ball didn't get the best of starts on this opening lap. Remy LeBeau looking to stay side by side with Revo though, and he's not quite in front of the pole sitter. Has to remain alongside the Italian as Marcus Nelson down in 14th, getting a 5-second time penalty for his troubles. Down the inside comes Remy LeBeau to try and take the lead here in his home race. Forces Revo close to the wall but not into it, and that's the move for the race lead for car number 27. Remy LeBeau leads his home ePrix from Revo and Sebastian Ocampo. Further back we've got yellows, and that is for Ica World. Moved up to 9th position, but every time, I have to stress this, every time the 8 has gotten a good start in recent times, he's just found himself in trouble immediately afterwards. And that's something that the Pinnacle Motorsport team are going to have to iron out, as who's that making the launch? That's the Red Devil. Francis Austin also off to a shockingly good start, up in 14th position, and this is a track where you can defend quite well. Verse Theo moves up into 12th position in front of the Scottish number 9 of Ewa Puff. We go on board with the Scotsman as what a lunge from Verse Theo to hold on to 12th position, make that 11th, getting in front of Marcus Nelson. There's something in that Brazilian's drink pouch that is just making him go unbelievably quick in these early stages of the race, and you could say the same about the home driver. He's got that home support, does Remy LeBeau. And looking back with the number 27, really trying his best to keep Revo behind, but of course the track kind of does that for you. This is one of those street circuits that's really like a classic street circuit. The walls are as close to you as the other drivers are if you're trying to go side by side, which is why, if you are trying to make the move, is now Revo's got attack mode, there are only a handful of opportunities to do it. There's this sharp turn here that you really need to be close for. You've got the chicanes, you've got the first chicane, and you've got the end of Sector 1. And those are really your main overtaking opportunities. Sebastian Ocampo closing up to the back of Revo. Out of the top 7, only one of these drivers hasn't taken a championship win of any form. And I do include Jonathan Sims as a champion in this because, you know, he owns Sims Motorsports. That's his own team, and he's at a faster sector, and Revo is out! Revo is out of the race! Reigning World Drivers Champion Revo out at turn 2. And it looks like it was just forced into the wall there by Ocampo. And we are under the full course cautions. It's been a relatively clean race around this track. A track very similar, if not identical, to the one we have in Singapore as the full course cautions end. And honestly, it's been a little too calm in my opinion, as we now get back under the green flags. Verse Theo, the man currently sat in 9th position. He was ecstatic with the 9th place last time out in Japan, trying to follow that form with him as we're in Europe now. And I believe this might be the penultimate round where these teams will be running with their throwback liveries, which would be kind of sad, to be honest with you, as I've just dropped my guitar. Ewa Puff lunging down the inside there for the Scotsman in front of the Danish driver, side by side. They're going into the wall. Another DS driver hits the wall. This time it's the 13 of Marcus Nelson. Deary me. That's going to hurt for the DS Virgin Racing driver. But we look further up front again. Romy LeBeau. He's led every lap from sector 2 lap 1 to lap number 4, and he's pulling away from Sebastian Ocampo at a rate of knots. In comes Rodney Sola, looking at the 76 now, heading through the first chicane. He's got his teammate Quan Todoroki quite a ways behind him, but still in third position. It's not a bad day to be an Andretti fan. There's hard tyres going on for Rodney Sola. Iker World and Francis Austin both into the pit, and for Iker, he really did need to come in, but that's a bad release down at Pinnacle Motorsport. They've put on some hard tyres. Austin comes in, puts on the softs. As we look back further out front to Sebastian Ocampo, and those soft tyres, they don't look too good. Under the old regulations of the ERL, tyres like this would have spelled doom at this chicane, at tracks that had chicanes like it. These days, not so much. The new ERL 02 cars generate a lot more downforce, but there are rumours of a future ERL 03 which will bring the racing a lot closer to the 01 standard, which will be really interesting to see, because currently we've only had a few seasons with these regulations. And also, just to point out about Nelson, too much damage to that car. It's not even a lot, it's way too much to even maintain, as U-Cable seemingly struggling around these streets here in the heart of France. I was about to say Paris, but you know that's wrong. We're now at the 33% mark of this race. U-Cable comes into the pits at the end of it, and Versio follows him in too. I just really want to point this out about Versio. He's currently only got one race win under his belt, and it was taken in circumstances that has made a lot of people go, oh, he doesn't deserve his seat. He's a Mickey Mouse race winner. But I beg to differ on that one. He's got some talent, but every time after Valencia, where it's like, wait, we could actually see Prime Versio as he gets past Cosmos Medicis. Every time we could see Prime Versio, something just goes his way, or just that Mercedes team has had an off-season so far. And that's what Mercedes were like before round 7. Those first 6 races, they're gonna rue, because they just hadn't gotten their powertrain ready yet, so they were using a very outdated, very outclassed version. But now Versio making the most of a Mercedes EQ car that is finally up to snuff, and he's up into 11th now. His teammate Carlos Sainz has been passed by U-Cable. And those mediums aren't looking too good. They aren't looking too hot, son. The Red Devil about to be passed by the Britain. We've got yellows in the seconds. Who's that? Is that Sims? Who went off? I don't know who went off there. Medicis has got low grip. Honestly, it's a toss-up. No, it's not. It's Elliot Deli. Deli's got front wing damage. Race leader Romy LeBeau comes in with Tenali Gabo and Sebastian Ocampo. Andretti are going to need to get this stop perfect. And they have. Ocampo is going to come out of the pits in front of Romy LeBeau. That was a stormer of a pit stop from the Andretti crew. And now Versio actually going to be quite close to the back of these guys. Jonathan Sims takes the lead in front of Quan Todoroki. On board we are with car number 66. The Japanese Welsh driver and the British-Japanese driver. Yes, one of them races under the British license and the other one races under the Japanese for some reason, instead of both of them running under Japanese or vice versa. And he's been fighting over the race lead after the guys in front of him pitted. And now Sims is the one up front. Charles Hernandez once again shocking the world up in third. But we do have to remember that the 46 of Rodney Sola pitted at the end of lap 4. One of the first drivers to come into the pits. And those hard tyres beginning to work a lot more for him. Tyre wear will become an issue later on in the stint. That is the worry of trying to do the undercut. Tyre wear everywhere, but here comes the 46 side by side with his fellow white car. and he moves up into 3rd position, and that's actually helped U-Cable get all over the back of the Faraday Future Man. He'll move up into 4th if he can hold it around the outside, and he does. In comes Hernandez, and I think we'll see some more drivers in with him. That's Sims and Kwon Todoroki both into the pits. Hard tires going on for Charles Hernandez. And once again in the ERL Formula E Series, it is a Power Motorsport 1-2. And the strategy from Power has worked a charm, unlike the strategies down at Andretti and Red Bull Sims Porsche, because now, instead of them being at the top of the pack, they are 3rd and 4th. The Hunters have become the Hunted. And for Theo, this has been a brilliant strategy. Ocampo now moves up into 2nd position, and it's all over the back of his fellow champion. Remy Lebeau is into the wall, and his home race started 2nd. Is currently in 3rd, but hit the wall, trying to go around the outside of U-Cable. You can see, however, Ocampo sliding around the outside and into the race lead. Sebastian Ocampo leads the Parisian ePrix in front of Rodney Sola and Remy Lebeau. Fun facts about the top 10. They are all race winners in the ERL, whether Formula E or not. And that actually extends all the way down to 15th position. Rotak is your first non-race winner. And in fact, he's the only non-race winner in the ERL. He didn't have any stints in IndyCar to try and get wins like Delhi or Hernandez. And in Formula E, well, he's been a backmarker driver. He's been running at the back of the pack with backmarker teams. Even if Audi shouldn't be a backmarker team. Remy Lebeau comes in. He'd only done one lap on that set of soft tires. Honestly, if I'm down at Sims working on their strategy and that happens, the best thing to do, honestly, is to strap on a set of the hard compound tires, the same hards that Rodney Sola is currently driving to P2 on. Theo is looking to get a podium on merit here, which are words that some people never really thought they'd hear in the same sentence. But there is the 38 behind U-Cable by quite a mile. And this is the thing about tracks like these. You're either going to get total wreckfests if it's wet, or you're going to have somewhat snooze fests if it's dry, as Kwon Todoroki now moves in front of Ica World. And you know what? Not all of the ERL races can be bangers, but all of the ERL moves can be bangers. That's the Red Devil in front of Lawless Leclerc as Hernandez gets passed by Ica World there. Good move from the 8 to get up into 8th. And now it's Ica World trying to defend from Hernandez. We were looking at you at Puff there, as now Leclerc going side by side with Kynes and losing a lot of time due to the amount of wear he's got on those softs after only 3 laps. This track is very long and punishes these Michelin tires. In comes Rodney Sola after 4 laps on his hards. Also into the pits, that's Sebastian Ocampo. Power Motorsport just about got that one done quickly enough. And out of the pits for Sola, and he's on softs. I don't believe what I'm seeing. They're going for the 3-stop. If they're not going for the 3-stop, then they are leaving Sola out there to get a puncture. They are hanging him out to dry. As, oh look at this mid-pack fighting. If only this was the fight for the lead, but you know, that can't always happen. Everyone there with attack mode. On board with the Red Devil is Remy Lebeau, the home driver in the 27, moves up into 9th. Remy, the most successful French driver in the ERL, as Kwon Todoroki moves in front of his teammates and in front of Charles Hernandez, side by side between Hernandez and Ocampo, but they keep it out of the wall. Is there going to be a lunge from the 76? There will be to take him up into 5th position, but we've got yellows in the 2nd sector, and that is for, I believe, you were Puff, and it is. He's hit the wall. Every time there's an incident down there, we miss it, and we're sorry for that. It's just a lot of the time in these instances, there's action all across the field as Rodney Sola moves up into 12th position. Solas Kynes fighting with Ica World and the Red Devil over the final points-paying position of 10th and 9th. Only one of them won't get it. as Versio and U-Cable both come into the pit. So Tenali Gabo is leading the pack with 5 to go. If Ica World and Ronnie Sola's stints on these hard tires are anything to go by, then you can't really do too many laps on them without beginning to feel the pain. In fact, Sims and Gabo's tires at the same percentage, but Gabo's is only a lap older. So whatever that percentage discrepancy is, it isn't helping Gabo now, as Sebastian Ocampo moves up into second position to try and right the wrongs of a rather disappointing Tokyo E3. He's going for the race win today, I'm sure of it. Rossack has just come into the pits for his second stop of the day. And just to say about Revo, that was unfortunate. Qualifies on pole in a really down championship defense, and he doesn't even make it past lap 4. And, you know, this is something that we often see with dominant drivers. They won't always have the Z. I mean, even D-Dragon Sonic, his final 8 races saw no wins, despite a pretty good chase for the cup. It's just, you're not going to be able to keep up that high standards forever. On to lap 11 of 15 we go. Tenali Gabo still heads the pack from Sebastian Ocampo and Jonathan Sims, but Ocampo is chasing down Gabo at a rate of knots. In fact, he's already all over the back of him. He's going to get attack mode after they leave this turn, but he doesn't need it. Sebastian Ocampo takes the lead of the Parisian E3 as Carlos Kynes comes in for his second stop. The Michelin tires that we've seen in recent races, they have benefited from stopping twice compared to the one stop that we often see. And it's the fastest third sector for UAPUF at 25.766. So expect a lot of pace from the Jaguar driver coming into the final few laps of this race. And for UAPUF, this has just really confused me about this man. He's a really fast driver, and we've seen this so many times across the ERL whenever he's decided to compete, whether that be IndyCar or Formula E. He's had the pace, but he's just never had the luck. He's never had the consistency that other drivers have. In the ERL, it's half skill. You need the skill, of course, to win races, but you also need those opportunities, because let's just take a random example. Last time out in Tokyo, had there been an extra lap, there is no doubting the fact that Marcus Nelson would have won that race. He had the fastest car out of the top 3 on that day in those final parts of that race, as we're on to lap 12 of 15. And Gabo comes in for a second stop. We've got a Sims Motorsport 2-3 right now. Could we see an inter-team battle? Or will we see team orders instead? Those team orders basically telling Remy LeBeau, look, we know this is your home race, but your teammate is the one in the championship battle, not you. So you've got to stay right behind him. UAPUF with the fastest lap. It's 126.383 as U-Cable gets past Ronnie Sola. U-Cable gets past Charles Hernandez. Now he goes side by side with his teammate Rodney Sola, and now he gets past Ronnie Sola. Remy LeBeau got past Jonathan Sims on that very same straight. Look at the two Power Motorsport boys looking at a potential podium here, potential double podium if they can both make the move on the two Sims boys in front of him, as we're on board with the 46. But again, tyre strategy is king around these streets. Here comes U-Cable down the inside on Sims, and he'll take third position with a vengeance there. We've got yellows further back. Who's that for? I think that's both Jaguars in the wall. Oh dear. Both the Red Devil and UAPUF have hit the wall. Both of them with front wing damage, and they'll likely both come into the pits before this race is over. That sucks, honestly. Again, both of these drivers, certainly championship caliber if they had the luck, but they just don't. They need a lucky horseshoe. As UAPUF moves up into 10th position in front of his teammate, who is basically held up. Kynes, as in comes Remy LeBeau, and it's another set of mediums. They should have put on softs. They should have put on the soft. Why are you going onto the mediums? There's no point. UAPUF comes in. If he goes onto mediums, someone's going in. No, that was Remy LeBeau, rather. Their pit crew still out. But yes, soft tyres going on for you, a puff, and you have to go into the soft tyres right now because there's not enough time in this race to benefit from the mediums. This Theo, by the way, if there's a driver of the day vote, he's winning it. He is currently running in 4th and doing a brilliant job of it. Sims, by the way, struggling on his mediums after 6 laps on them. That's 20-ish% on them. But lucky for him, he doesn't really have to defend from Hernandez. There's Theo all over the back of Ronnie Sola. Is he going to look for the move on the Season 5 champion? He will, and he's going to take 3rd from Ronnie Sola. Ronnie Sola's been done by the Brazilian. As Gabo moves up into 6th, make that 5th on his old employer. Gabo really glad to be driving for the Faraday Future Dragon Racing team, I'm sure of it. Instead of staying in Jonathan Sims' team, where, to quote him, he just really didn't feel too valued. We're on to the penultimate lap though, and it's Ocampo at the head of the pack from U-Cable and Theo, the Brazilian driver. Honestly, this has just been an amazing race from Theo and the Mercedes strategy team, who are going for their first double point score of the season. Look at this from the mid-pack though. Ica World launches it down the inside on Charles Hernandez and takes 7th position. Quanto Todoroki followed him through. Ica World still fighting with Sims there. Sims drops down to 7th position, and with 11% on those mediums, I don't know if he'll make it to the end. But we stay on board with the 11. And he has been reporting some increased tyre wear throughout these final few laps. That could be very interesting to see its effects on the rest of the pack. As you can see, the Red Devil at 21%. Hernandez getting passed by Kynes there alongside Sims, who's now at 6%. He was at 10% a few laps ago. That's how much tyre degradation is ramped up. Here comes Gabo down the inside on Theo to deny the Mercedes man of points. It's into the wall. That's 2 drivers, Kynes and Ica World, both piling it down into the wall. 2% for Jonathan Sims. We could see a puncture here. So we're on board with the 11. Weaving out of that turn, he's hit 1%. He's hit 0. Jonathan Sims has hit 0 on the penultimate lap, and he's got a full car puncture. That's day over for the number 11, surely. As Sebastian Ocampo goes on to his final lap here in France. Jonathan Sims, for Sims Motorsport, started in the top 4. And unfortunately for him, he's going to drop all the way down the order. The Red Devil struggling with his tyres too, but I think he'll make it to the end. That's a slow-moving Ronnie Sola, and he's got a full car puncture too. That's why Quanto Todoroki just drove past him. Ica World also struggling on this final tour here in Paris. My goodness me, who would have thought we would have seen tyre calamity on this scale? As Hernandez and Puff fighting over position. Still a lot of time left in this race. Gabo is closing in on U-Cable. As Sola now drops down the order at a rate of knots. Sims is the next one on his hit list. And the Red Devil's got massive damage. But now heading through the final sector. Heading into the final sector now for Sebastian Ocampo. He's hit 7%. What's U-Cable looking at? He's hit 1%. 32% for Tenali Gabo. If he can gain 7 seconds, he could probably take the win. U-Cable's got a puncture too. Remy LeBeau could be on for a home podium. But for Sebastian Ocampo, as he makes his way through the final few turns, he's hit 2%. Rounds the final turn now to win the Parisian ePrix. And he's hit 0. Ocampo hit 0 as he came across the line. Gabo comes home with P2. Remy LeBeau is 3rd from Theo and Quanto Todoroki. U-Cable's got that full car puncture. Carlos Kynes is closing in, but he's got damage, so he won't take 6th. Then it's Clerk, Puff, and Marcus Nelson in the top 10, and Nelson with a lot of tyre wear too. That's just the final few laps here in Paris for you. Meanwhile, looking further back, Solar, of course, with that full car puncture. Ica World's got a full car puncture too. Same with the Red Devil. Falstad's been given a time penalty, and I wouldn't be shocked if that's because the man behind him, yes, Scatterland Rotak's got a full car puncture as well. what caused that massive ramp up in tyre wear come the end of the race? I don't know. That's just unbelievable scenes, because the Red Devils got massive wear and a full car puncture for for Austin, as he's been given a time penalty as well. Oh, yikes. Delhi's got a full car puncture. Volstad's going to be with Medicis and Bogdasarov, the last guys without punctures, as Rosak now coming across the line. And I genuinely can't tell you why there was just so much more wear coming to the end of the race. Just wow. But this is the podium. Sebastian Ocampo takes victory from Tenali Gabo and the home driver of Remy Lebeau, conquering adversity for Remy to just about come home with a podium finish. Then it's Vesfio, Quan Todoroki, UK Ball and Salas Kynes from Chicluk, Puff and Marcus Nelson. Outside of the top 10, you've got Charles Hernandez, Ica World, Ronnie Sola, the Red Devil, Francis Austin, Jonathan Sims, Elliot Delhi, Cosmas Rodicis, Bogdasarov, Volstad, and Rosak, with the non-finisher being Revo. In the driver's standings, Ocampo leads the pack from Gabo and Chicluk, tied with his teammate Ica World. Then it is Ronnie Sola, Marcus Nelson, Puff, and the Red Devil. Puff, by the way, one of, if not the highest driver, well, no, Sola is 5th, and he hasn't taken a win either. Then it's UK Ball tied with Sims, Todoroki, and Remy Lebeau. Then it's Revo, best of the rest, it seems, from Vesfio, Salas Kynes, Hernandez, and Delhi, with your non-scorers being Austin, Volstad, Bogdasarov, Medicis, and Rosak. So in the constructors' standings, after the longest race of the season so far, MS, Amlin, Andretti lead the pack 6 points over Pinnacle Motorsport. Then it's Power Motorsport, Panasonic Jaguar, Red Bull Sims, Porsche, and DS Virgin Racing. Outside of the top 6, you've got Faraday Future Dragon Racing, Mercedes EQ, Team Edams Renault, and Apt Schaeffler Audi Sport. And Apt and Toyota Gazoo Racing are yet to score any points. And with that, thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys next time then, when the ERL returns.